What up, YouTube? Dark Dub coming at you from my my survival world here, where I've got my gold farm going pretty strong. I've had this thing set up with 3 different collection systems. For my style of gameplay, I like the trident killer that I found on Silent Whisperer. I'll show you how to make it. Link his video in the description. I just made a few minor adjustments because of the collection system. And there they go. It can be kind of loud, so you might want to turn your volume down a little bit, but it takes care of business. And you get the experience chilling right here. And as you'll see, even at 216, I'm still getting experience. Actually, quite a bit of experience. And as you'll imagine, it doesn't take long to charge your weapons this way. So before I show you the trident killer, I want to show you the first 2 that I had done. And the first one was just to drop them onto the hoppers and run the hoppers into chests. And you wanted a lot of them because they dropped a lot of rotten flesh, and yeah, you needed to store it. But I didn't like all the rotten flesh, so I filtered it out. This one here, well, let's just show you. So this one here does the same thing, but if you'll notice, I've got this button here and a dispenser with a water bucket in it, so that when I push the button and the water comes out, now I can trap them. And I've got the sword with looting 3 on it, and I can just go to town on them. Now the way I've got this set up to sort everything out, it also cooks the golden swords that they drop, and they do drop a lot of them. And so if you've got a server, this is the best way to collect gold, because, well, you can have somebody hacking away the whole time, and that would net you a lot more gold than any other method I've seen, provided you're cooking all the swords. So what I did with this is the 6 hoppers there are all facing straight down. 2 double chests, 2 hoppers. See the hoppers coming out of there? They run into another double chest, which just goes into 1 hopper. This ensures that there's only 1 down the line. The furnaces are just there for lag purposes. That way your hoppers aren't trying to look for one of these. They run over filters. Okay, so the first 3 of my filters are rotten flesh, and they just run into this chest here, which then empties into this dispenser. This detects it, and as long as there's an item in here, it'll send a signal, loop, and every time it loops, this will make the dispenser spit an item into the lava, and that empties the dispenser. Now, if you'll notice, there are quite a few pigmen here. If you let them, they'll lag your game. They might even crash your game. So, look at that. You don't see, there you go. And only ever one at a time. So then what I've got over here, next after the 3 with rotten flesh, I've got 2 with gold bars and 2 with gold nuggets. All that'll filter out into these chests and then these hoppers. And those chests just keep these hoppers and these torches away from each other. And then they run over here. But anything that makes it through is going to be a golden sword. And it's going to filter down this line here, which goes over these hoppers facing down into blast furnaces. Now, after doing this for a while, I had a gold bar in one of these, so it wouldn't hurt to have a third filter. But then underneath the blast furnaces, you've just got your line coming back in, and underneath, so that's this line coming in, and then they just go down into your collection. The one thing I did not do here is put a line of hoppers into these faces and give it a bamboo farm, 0 tick. This farm here will probably be obsolete once the update comes anyway, so just keep that in mind. I happen to have just had all these materials laying around, so now that I have shown you the other 2 builds, I'm going to show you the trident killer collection system. So what I did was, at the top, instead of coming to 3 and then falling, I've got it coming to 2 and then falling. And this does not have to be this high in the sky in order to kill them with the trident killer. So you'll see I bring it to 2, and the way I do that is, over here, this one, the water drops 1, and over here the water drops 2. Over here they'll fall down onto 2 of them, hoppers facing down, and then you'll put another 2 on the side that you see fit, and that gives you this right here. And just like the other collection system, I've got them running down into 2 double chests, and they condense into 1 double chest, which drops into 1 hopper. And that's because I am filtering out the rotten flesh once again. Just 2 filters this time though. And then straight from this hopper line into the collection system. And of course the rotten flesh is doing the same thing it did before, and it's being dispensed into lava with the exact same circuit. On top of these hoppers, we're going to place 4 blocks of blue ice. I'm not 100% sure if you can use regular ice. You might be able to. Silent Whisperer video is a lot more descriptive about what you can and can't use and why. I'm just using what he used for the most part. Once again, his video will be linked in the description. If you'll notice, I surrounded that with blocks. Use whatever block you want. These blocks will be showing, so you know they can be decorative. Just know that you're going to be taking some of these blocks out to begin with. Okay, now we want to know which side's going to be the front. Okay, I'm going to call this side my front, so choose which one of these two that you want the water column to be on. That's where you'll be standing to collect your experience, and you want to place a piece of blue glass there. But before you place that piece of blue glass, remove these three. Blue glass, blue ice. But then, here we go, place tracks like that, remove these two tracks. You're going for this curve there, okay? Place a minecart with hopper on there, come down till you're low enough that you can delete that rail without hurting the minecart. And then just push the minecart into the ice, like that. We're gonna grab those blocks and replace them. And I was wrong, we're not gonna put that there, we're gonna put blue ice, like I said before. And there we are. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on two more sides. Okay, we'll go this side first. And we'll do the minecart trick that we did over there. Okay, kind of did the funky chicken there, but not too bad. Okay, well, there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring a piston out here. We're going to push this block into the minecart, like so. Now we can remove that, and we'll come over to this one. We'll do the same thing. Now this one's going to be a little trickier. Okay, we're going to push this guy in here. Notice I didn't go very far. We'll bring two blocks out like that, and then a piston behind each one, facing into them. And then we will grab blocks, and what we're going to do is we're going to run dust into both of these and power them both at the same time. So a lever, and flip them, and you see what it did there. We can replace that block, remove this line, and we're going to do the same thing in this corner here. So now that you've got that, what we're going to do is we're going to come around and place our pistons like so. And we placed this block first so we knew where to sit this. Okay, that was important. Then we're going to place these here like that. Okay, now right here where this ice is, we're going to grab a half slab. We're going to make it a top half slab. Place that guy right there, and then on the block opposite that, we're going to place a stair down like that. And the reason for that stair being there, well, I shouldn't have got rid of that water bucket, is because we're going to waterlog it and the water comes out like this. And the reason for this half slab is because we want the experience to push out this way. Now from this point, I'm going to place a soul sand right there. And this is going to be where we water column up your experience. So then water in there, and you see it starts to bubble. Now we're going to place a redstone conductive block on top of each and every one of these pistons. Next I'm going to grab a dropper and an observer. Okay, now I'm going to face this dropper here, facing into that block, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to face this observer facing out of that dropper. Okay, and the droppers, I'm facing each dropper into a block, that way you don't see its face. You don't have to do that, that's just an aesthetic choice of mine. but you do have to make sure that the observers point out of said droppers. And what they're doing is, this observer will detect when that dropper goes off, and it will click this, which will then activate this dropper, and then this observer will detect that, and now it just goes around and around and around. Now we need our lever. Place a block here, lever here, flip that lever, and it stops. Now we are ready for our tridents. In my world, I shot 9 of them in here. 5 or 6 would probably work. I think I just shot 10. So then you flip it and they're going around. They are a little loud, so you know, maybe adjust your volume to suit your desires there. And then all we're doing from this point is just blocking it up. So when you've got the farm turned on but not the trident killer, they will collect here. Don't let too many of them collect before you start killing them. They will start to lag your game a lot. You let too many of them collect, and from my understanding, you can crash your server. So keep that in mind. But then you turn it on and they start to go away. Something else that will lag your game is if your collection system isn't big enough. If you just have a bunch of items collecting on there that are not disappearing and they're collecting faster than it will lag your game. And that can even crash your game when you get too many of those. So you want to make sure that your collection system's big enough, just as sure as your trident killer is turned on. So I'm going to leave that on just in case. We might be able to show you this, but when you get to the nether and that's on, any zombie pigman that runs into you in the nether will aggro you. This is 200 blocks, I believe, to the north of my other nether portal. When I built the gold farm, the portal's linked. Don't know how or why. It's even more than 200 blocks away in the overworld. It's like 300 blocks away. I don't know if you've been looking at my coordinates up at the top left, but I've had them on the whole time. So I probably should have took my boat. It's a little bit faster, even though I do have Depth Strider 3. But so we're gonna go over here and we're gonna go to my blaze farm, and that's the one that linked up to me. And what I had to do is I had to enter in my blaze farm, and then I counted how many blocks it was from here to the gold farm. So right here is my blaze farm portal. Okay, so I measured the coordinates here, and I noticed that it was 300 blocks to the north, I want to say. Yeah, so it was 300 blocks to the north. So what I did was I divided by 8. I came in here and I went that many blocks to the north here, and then I created a portal, and then I turned my other portal off, so he hasn't aggroed me. I might have to go closer to his portal in order to get him to aggro me, but and there we go. And there are difficulties being experienced right now. I cannot wait for them to fix this. But anyway, that's something else you got to deal with when you've got a gold farm going. Really, any nether portals do this now, but I've noticed that when you've got a gold farm running, it happens more often than not. And with a quick reboot, the world makes sense once again. Now I want to take this time to apologize for how long it's been between videos. I know it's been close to 2 weeks now, a couple days away, and it will be 2 weeks since my last video. Maybe 3 days actually, but that shouldn't happen. I'm going to do my best to make sure that doesn't happen again. I've been working a lot of long hours, not that that matters to anybody here, but on top of that, I also have taken on a few projects, and one of these projects will probably lead to better quality videos and maybe even a good server for me in the future. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to start using my computer in conjunction with some of these worlds, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, it's been real. Peace.